Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Jones, and you are watching Let's Talk. This is Global Education Ambassador Dr. Mike Jones, and I'm so glad that you all have joined us tonight. This is the first opportunity I have to speak to leaders, international, global leaders who are here based in the United States of America. These are friends of mine. I've been talking about this YouTube channel that I'm going to get started. This is my first effort, and what a great couple to start with. This is my great friend, John Martin, and my greater friend, Tammy Martin of YBLA, Young Black Leadership Alliance. We want to make sure that we give you a chance to introduce yourselves to everyone. They're in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, in North Carolina, my old stomping ground where we met some years ago. I hate to say it, but John and Tammy, that was like 2008 since I was last there. Can you believe it? It's like 12 years now.
Right.
Yeah, going on.
I was 10 years old. That's amazing.
I was really so anyhow, John and Tammy, so good to see you. How are you?
Pleasure's ours.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely. Amazing. This is our series talking about COVID-19, this pandemic that we are faced with now. And as you all know, this was unexpected. This was not something we expected, not something for which we were prepared, but it has impacted us. And in our context, it has impacted us in terms of education. We are instructional leaders, we're educational leaders. You all are in the forefront of leadership there with the school system. You're expanding your nonprofit organization there. Can you just talk to us a little bit about what it is that you do? And then I want to turn our attention to a few questions that I'm sure the audience might be interested in hearing the answers.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'll jump in and then you can kind of pull from there.
Yeah.
So we're a leadership development program. We work with young Black men and women from high school into college and then into the young professionals. And really, our objective, our goal, our vision is to create a network of leaders that can impact not only their families, but also the communities, and then eventually the world at large. So that's really who we are, what we do.
Yes, our tagline we like to say, Mike, is we build leaders. And how we build leaders is through simple 3 E's. It's how we like to sum it up. It's through experiences, exposure, and education. And basically experiences, you was actually one of the reasons why we got to experience. One of the first major trips we ever took was to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. We feel that in building leaders, we have to have experiences for our children to go to in order to open up their mind. They was able to experience different cultures, different climate. They got to travel to another country, which some of them have actually never flown before. So having the opportunity to give them experiences like no other definitely is one of the reasons how we build leaders. Another way is exposure. And it's exposing them to people like you, Mike. You were there.
I'm not sure that's always a good
thing.
You,
Mike.
That's amazing. That's right.
But to other business leaders and professionals who want to see the best for them. Also with experiences and exposure is education. Where would we be without education? So having an open mind to be able to learn different cultures. Most of our students are college-bound students. So not only do they get a college education, but they get a global world-like education. And that's one of the things that we definitely hone in on and how we build leaders in our organization.
Absolutely.
Very well said.
That was well said and so true. And so true. I'm really fortunate and blessed to still be a part of the organization as a partner. As a volunteer, I'm really blessed to be able to donate financially, contribute financially each month because this is a worthy cause, And we have to give back to our community at large. And I want to appreciate you all for what you do for our families and for our students, because I'm sure it is impactful work. what I want to do is turn our attention now to what we're dealing with, and that's COVID-19, right? This is a pandemic, and this is something that has taken the world by storm, and something, as I said earlier, for which we were not prepared, but it has impacted us in a very significant way. And unfortunately, I'm sad to say, I think it's going to continue to impact us for some months and maybe a year or two along the way. But I want to talk about where we were in terms of education before pre-COVID-19. Yes, I want to talk about where we were because, as you know, I work along with you in the educational system, I'd like to call it, the global education community for our purposes, because we're talking tonight to people who are a part of our network all over the world. Right? And so we had a pretty good idea of how we were dealing with our educational system and our educational community. We were working on our best practices. You know, we were building our sites. We were having our programs. We were putting our monies in the right places, getting the right people in the right seats within these different organizations and sites. But here comes COVID-19. Right? And it changes everything. It shuts us down. So what I want to know from you all is, how has COVID-19 changed the way that you do business?
That's a big one.
And that's a loaded question.
I don't know how long we have, but I mean, I think, you know, there's lots of ways, but to kind of try to simplify it. So the first way is our business is really was based on face-to-face interactions. Right. So what we would call like the secret sauce of the business is really bringing diverse groups of young Black men and women from different backgrounds together, and then helping them to elevate and move up. And as they moved up, they would reach back and then help other people. Well, given our situation now, I mean, we can't bring people together. And if you think about it, it might be, like you said, it might be a while before we're able to bring people together. So that's like one component. The second piece is when we did, the funding part of our business is also based on face-to-face interaction. So we have every year what we call our annual gala or leaders ball, and that's 400 people in a room getting all dressed up. I know. It's amazing. It's a whole experience. And for us, that experience is 20% of our budget. Right. So now we're looking at it going like, okay, well, we ain't gonna be able to do that anytime soon. So that's some of the ways. I mean, you can jump in and say.
Definitely. I was going to say, as far as just how we do our programming, because as John was saying, the ambassadors would come together and we would take them different places. They got to network with business leaders in the community. Now it's like we can't do that. So literally this week, and one of the most difficult things for me is, now what are we going to do? Since we can't touch and feel our students, we can't take them places. Now what does YBLA look like? So that has probably been one of the biggest challenges. I know John is concerned with funding. I'm concerned with the programming aspect of it, because I really want the kids to get the experience, because like I was describing before, how we build leaders is through these experiences. Now what does that look like if we don't have those experiences for a certain amount of time?
So what has evolved in terms of the next steps? And John, I know that your wheels have been turning and spinning, and you and I and Tammy have talked prior to this interview on Zoom. But so what does that look like in terms of the new face of YBLA and the platforms and how it is, as you and Tammy say, you continue to have that ebbing flow of resources, and you continue to facilitate your programs without disruption.
So the interesting thing is, to every issue or catastrophe, there's opportunity on the other side. And I think what happens a lot of times is people get zoned in on what used to be and how we used to do business. And if you don't look at the opportunity side, you're really going to miss it. And I think, I just reread for the 100th time Who Moved My Cheese? And perfect example of, like, we got to be the people that say, hey, the cheese is moved, we got to go in that direction.
And I'm not ready for the cheese to move.
Right. Well, I think we'll agree that many people would agree with you, Tammy. They don't want anyone to move their cheese.
Yeah.
Fine with the way things were.
Right.
You know what? If you're watching this, get that book and read it, because there were two little people that didn't believe the cheese moved, and they kept going back to the same spot. And I think for us, I give you two very perfect examples from today. Not like yesterday or tomorrow. I give you examples of today of how our business has evolved.
I'm actually looking that up while you're talking, John. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson.
Yes.
Spencer.
Really short book. It's probably 20, 25 pages or so. It's an excellent read. It is perfectly the book to read today. So two examples from our business. So the first example, we brought together today our students, probably 20, 30 students, and we did a virtual tour, a professional engagement day with two DJs at our radio station. So we're sitting on Zoom. The DJs at the radio station is on the other side of her phone. She's showing us the DJ booth and showing us the engineering equipment, and we're interacting with them while they're on the radio.
Right.
And our students are asking questions, and they're showing us the advertising. And he's like, "Hold on one second, let me." And he goes up and he says this, "Hey, this is Tonex, blah, blah, blah." And he goes through, what they're actually showing. So that for us, that's real time things that you can't get 20 people in a DJ booth. I mean, it's just not possible on the radio.
Exactly.
But we could get hundreds of people from around the country basically watching in depth. So our delivery mechanism is no longer centralized to just Charlotte. We can really do this around the world. Right? So our impact has now just stretched magically. Second thing is, in that respect, we just got an email message from someone from California. From California said,
Really?
"Hey, my daughter's going to the 9th grade. I really would like to have her in our program." We're going like
okay, that's my neck of the woods. Neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But
So what we've been working on for this summer is a virtual summer camp.
Right.
Where we're actually, it was really for our students. Now we're going like, well, the lady from California, her daughter can participate
easily.
Absolutely.
So now the business model is no longer just centralized in a physical space.
Right.
Now we have the ability to be able to be global.
Right. So there's no wall.
Tammy, I want to point this out, because you said something that I think is so important, that before pre-COVID-19, we were probably in the mode of thinking about barriers, right?
Yes.
We were in the mode of, okay, how can we expand YBLA from Charlotte to Atlanta? How can we expand from Atlanta to Columbia, South Carolina?
Right.
How can we expand from Columbia, South Carolina to New York City? And now, how can we expand to San Francisco, California, or LA, California, or Las Vegas, Nevada, right? We were looking in terms of physical barriers.
Physical plant. Like, how do I get a space in California?
Right.
But isn't it ironic how something like COVID-19, like a pandemic that is unfortunately it's killing people, it's reducing the population worldwide, and certainly here in America, it is devastating the number of families who have been impacted. You and I probably both know friends and family members and relatives who have someone who's being impacted right now in some kind of way with COVID-19. But this has caused us to even think differently. Now we're not looking at barriers. The barriers were completely removed because we don't have a choice now but to engage virtually.
Right.
We are on stay-home orders and shelter in place and lockdown, right? So we don't have a choice but to embrace technology, embrace virtual learning, embrace distance learning. Talk more about that to me, if you will.
Absolutely. That, Mike, that is so true. We was literally just saying that because we definitely are believers that even though God will send a storm, we know the rainbow is coming.
It's coming.
Know it.
It's on its way.
And we have always tried to stay positive because we know what we're doing is definitely God breathed, God led.
That's right.
It's something that we never strive for. It was an assignment God gave to us. So we knew. Now I admit, at the beginning with this corona, I was like, okay, I don't want the cheese to move, Mike. I I was
not bad.
struggling.
Moving
Our
cheese is
program
not bad.
was working. What
Right.
the But anyway,
that's real, right? That's a real.
Wrestling with this thing, right? So, but just like John said today, it's like God is showing us every day that we're in this pandemic.
Absolutely.
It's like, you know what? There's no barriers. There's literally no barriers. And before I was living like this, now I can open it up. The possibilities of YBLA. And just like you were saying, as far as we were thinking about how we're going to get from just Charlotte to Columbia, now our thought is not Charlotte to Columbia. It's like how we're going to get across the globe. We can actually do that now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm listening for. I was listening for that global perspective.
Yeah. I mean, we just had a conversation today. Like again, this is the third part of it. Conversation today. We're talking about connecting with South Africa, because we just got back from South Africa over the year. And we're talking about connecting with Oprah Winfrey's Leadership Academy for girls, connecting our young ladies with those young ladies. I mean, and now it's possible. And even, when we talk about Abu Dhabi and Dubai, we can now think about, wow, we can connect with them, do leadership exchanges with them, which is now possible. And if you're doing that from a physical perspective, you've got to have billions of dollars. This now allows us to do it relatively low cost. So the cost of entry is low.
Absolutely. So that's great to hear. And again, as I alluded to earlier, that's what one of our goals is, to strengthen the global education community here and provide a support network for people. So what I want to do is just share actually your website. I'm looking at it now, which the front page is amazing. I love this. I'm not going to show the viewers. You're going to have to go to the website. This is youngblackleadership.org. Youngblackleadership.org, and you're going to be just blown away by this picture. And I know exactly where this picture was taken, because I know exactly. This is uptown. This is uptown Charlotte. I can't name the building, but I've been by this building a few times.
Oh, yeah, with the ambassador.
A few times.
Yeah.
But don't tell us.
Okay.
Don't tell us. We'll let everyone be surprised. But I want to be able to just, I wanted to point people in the direction of your website so that we can have people to join the cause. And as you always say, John, just live the dream with you. And Tammy, and all of your board members, all of your leaders, your volunteers, your ambassadors, everyone who has joined their vision along with your vision to make sure that our youth are making a mark now and in the days and months and years to come, and that they are doing exactly what you're doing, and that is leaving a legacy that can be continued even after we're long gone.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited that we had a chance to have this conversation. And again, how appropriate it is to talk to my friends. John Martin.
There you go.
And Tammy Martin. And, next time we see each other, we're going to have some carrot cake.
Now, we are.
That's what we're doing.
We missed our date.
Valentine's Day.
That's right.
That's right.
We put together, I believe, 2 Valentine's Days.
In a row.
Yeah.
Once in Charlotte, and then you all were here in San Francisco.
That's right.
Yes. So, okay, we missed this year. So next year we'll have to catch up.
We'll catch up.
Now, even if we do it virtually, because, now we've embraced virtual
open, my friend.
Interaction and engagement. So we'll just have to decide on where we're going to order the carrot cake and what.
Exactly.
That's right.
All 3 hours ahead of me. We'll have to sync our time.
Cheesecake Factory.
Well, you know, Cheesecake Factory has the best.
Yes.
It was Outback, but I think it's now Cheesecake.
Really, Outback?
We've never had
Outback has some really good carrot cake. Yes.
Okay.
And they give you. Let me give you a secret. They give you a scoop of ice cream on the side if you ask them.
Yeah.
They drizzle some caramel on it. But anyhow, I'm just letting the people know how we get down.
There you go. Okay, so is this part of the recording?
We're still recording. But John and Tammy, again, YBLA, so happy for the work that you're doing. I know this is very important to you and very important to me as well. And this is, like you said, this is ministry. This is destiny. This is divine purpose. This is assignment. And this is life-changing globally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know you have chicken in the oven, Tammy. I know that you have chicken that's been cooking and baking in the oven, and that John is ready to have dinner. So with that, I want to say thank you again and good night to you. And I'm going to make sure that people, once we post, they have access to your contact information. And we'll definitely do this again real soon.
Okay,
awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Mike.
Take care, guys.
Hey. See you later.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more educational news, exclusive interviews, and more.